So a couple of things. Every year when I speak to you, you always have set a goal in each season to work on something to get better, and every single season you've checked that box. What is it this season that you've set your mind to?
Well, I think this year, just consistency. It's one thing that I really honed in on this later part of my career is just trying to be more consistent on each and everyday basis. And then, obviously I'll be kind of moving back and forth between left and center. So just being very familiar with both positions this year, making sure I'm getting both my work in both places. And then, I think there's always meat on the bone for base stealing, trying to get a little bit better at just little things with it and just understanding the game a little bit better. And so always with a new base running coach, want to take in what he knows and what I know, and let's bring it together and let's try and make the best plan possible. So I'm excited to work with Antoine this year as well.
It's interesting you mentioned that because last year you and I spoke about with the new rules.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that the analytics department said that if you're not an 80% base stealer, you're hurting the team.
Right.
Now you have a new regime.
Yep.
New analytics department.
Yeah.
Does that change?
Does it change? Not necessarily. I don't think it changed, but does it change the way that they think about it? Yeah, I do. I think that the way that they're thinking about base stealing, the way they're thinking about the way that it's used in the game today, especially with the bigger bases and everything that was implemented last year, I think there is a different thought process behind it, and so I'm excited to go through it with them and come up with a game plan for us. But they are really big on individual game plans, and so am I, and so we'll have that evolve as spring training goes on.
As being the longest tenured Met, there's some great stuff with it, but there's the negative. It's a business. I know you had a very good relationship with Buck, and you had a very good relationship with all the managers.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of turnover, managers, front office.
Yeah.
When you come into these camps when it all changes, what's the mindset?
Yeah. You're trying to develop new relationships. You're right. It's been a lot of turnover, and it is hard. It is hard to deal with because you do develop close, deep relationships with each of them. Because you're going through the fire with them every day, and you're around them more than you are your family during the season. So honestly, you try and just come into this with a fresh outlook and eager to develop the relationship and kind of get it to a spot where each one is comfortable and able to communicate back and forth really easily. Communication seems to be the biggest thing that I've found in good relationships between managers and players, and so just trying to get that communication going and have it be really fluid, and then I think after that point you're going to fight each and every day with each other. So just learning more about each other helps.
Speaking of relationships, people don't get to see. They look at wins and losses. They don't understand the human element.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys come back from a really bad road trip where you guys were really struggling, and Alex Cone was out on the field. You came out from taking outfield, and you walked over to her and you apologized for putting her through what's going on. There's a human side to this game.
Right.
What would you tell fans that just look at numbers?
Yeah. Obviously, first and foremost, we're paid to produce, and we know that, and it's a business, like you said. But there is a human element to it, and so obviously we're trying to do our best, for the fans, and we're trying to do our best for the owners and for the city of New York and that whole Mets fan base. We know that I've been waiting for another World Series for a while now, and we want to bring it to them. And I know that Steve and Alex want to as well, and that's part of the reason that I signed back here was because of their genuine belief of bringing a world championship back to the Mets organization, and so I want to do that as well. And so from the human side of it, we're going to be giving it everything we got. There's no quit in us, and we're going to be trying it as hard as we can. And that's what you're going to expect from me each and every day. So just trying to give it everything I got for the Mets fan base and bring a world championship back to them.
As a guy who went through that process, being a free agent, have you offered any advice to Pete?
Oh, just that, you've worked a long time to get to this point. And so, I would love to have him back with the Mets, but also it's a big life decision for him. I understand it. It's a fork in the road where, your family's going to end up somewhere for the next, foreseeable future, honestly. And you're probably only going to go through it one time. So, to enjoy the process, don't put too much pressure on yourself. He's a great player, and it's going to come out and it's going to show, and he has a track record to build on and to look back on, and just to enjoy the process. But definitely want him back. but ultimately, you know, the decision will come to him and the Mets at the end of the day, and just to enjoy the process.